Oh, I think I can see the comments.
Old leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Pop.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Did you give me a 3, 2, 1? 3, 2, 1. I'm on. All right, we had some technical difficulties playing the opening song. Hello, Laughter Saves Lives Live. We're broadcasting live from Paradise Studios on Strong Island Television from beautiful Massapequa, New York, right by the Long Island Railroad Station. Is a pizzeria and a Chinese restaurant next door, too. Hello, Juliet.
Hello.
There she is, the lovely and beautiful Juliet Scalzo and the lovely and beautiful John Larocchia. Both of us are on screen at the same time. It's so nice to have you on co-hosting tonight. Your sister, there's a high bar, you know.
Yeah, there is.
You know, Darcy was she was funny and she hung in there with me and she was all right. And then she said, "Listen, let's torture Juliet. Put her on the show," she said. She wouldn't do that, right?
No, not at all.
No, she didn't do that. So Juliet is the daughter of Dennis Scalzo, who I used to work with, was lost on 9/11. This is a 9/11 related show. Yet I have a very hard time every year, as I'm sure Juliet does too, is as that calendar turns to September, all of a sudden everything is more difficult. Walking, talking, waking up, it's just there's a cloud. There's a mud around us. And we fight through it to get through September 11th to get on the other side. Do you feel the same way, Juliet?
Definitely. And it's not just the day of the anniversary or the few days around it. For me, I think for a lot of people, it's the whole month.
Yes.
I actually think on the day I'm usually okay because it's, all right, it's go time. We have to go to this memorial. It's the days after that I find much harder, especially, you know, everyone's posting and everyone's, you know, never forget on the day. And then, you know, the next day it's
right
back to reality for most people. But
yes, I guess it's like, you know, like when you lose somebody and everybody is at your house for a day or two after, and then all of a sudden you're sitting in your own thoughts and people are moving on with their lives. You know, this is a tough day for us because it was so visual. It was all over the place. We see it over and over. And choosing to use laughter. Oh, that's a nice picture. Look at that. Well, nice and big. I'm so professional today. Choosing laughter was something that I thought was therapeutic. Not only for me. I love when I see Juliet in my audience, or a child that lost somebody on 9/11, or a wife, a relative, and they're laughing. And all I can think of when I see those things is that's what they would have wanted. You know, we needed the funerals, we needed all the memorials, but I know if it was me, I'd want my relatives laughing again. And that was the whole premise behind what we do. But to have you on today means a lot to me. And I will try not to cry about it. But
well, I'm very happy to be here.
It's an interesting day because today Olivia Lynn was 20, and Olivia's birthday in 2001 was the last thing that we celebrated. You know, Tommy Gardner and Liz were over my house, from what I remember, in the backyard. And that was the last thing we celebrated before 9/11, and there wasn't much celebration in the months that followed. So it's cool to have you here. This week, are you a baseball fan, Juliet? No.
No, I mean, I used to play. I can't say that I follow it. I don't.
All right. Well, I'm 61, and one of my heroes now are people like your dad. Those are my heroes. As a kid, we don't think that way. We think baseball players, football players, but I saw what they went through. I saw them in the lobby of the building, and they went up those stairs. And anytime I have a tough day, or I'm like, oh, it's so hard to run a foundation, or I think, and I have the list on my wall of the guys who were supposed to work, my name crossed out, your dad's and Tommy's name, and Kevin Smith, all those guys filled in the day. And I think about that often. I say, if they could do that, I can do anything. So I'm only human. I have the days where I'm like, oh, poor me, I can't do this, I'm tired, But when I think of what they did that day, I can do anything. It energizes me. But Tom Seaver was one of my heroes as a kid. I was a big Met fan, and Tom passed away this week. And when I heard it, I was going to teach at LaGuardia Airport. I was teaching Customs and Border Protection this week, which I'm very honored and proud to do. Those are another set of heroes that, like healthcare professionals before COVID, like you are now, by the way, a healthcare professional. So proud of you. You're our new heroes. And I don't mean we didn't know nurses, doctors, x-ray techs were heroes before. If we really thought about it, everybody would say, of course they are. But now it was really put in front of us how dedicated you guys are. Briefly tell us what you're doing now.
So I work in medical urgent care, and we're also on the front of COVID-19 testing. So it's been a very difficult few months. It's been very crazy. We're seeing hundreds of patients a day, and there's only a handful of us on site with 2 doctors. So it's definitely crazy. And yeah, we usually work 12-hour shifts. So when I'm feeling tired, I'm like, well, my dad did way longer hours than that, responding to God knows how many calls in one shift. So I can get through the 12 hours.
Well, what you do, it's exhausting.
It is. I don't get to sit down. There are some days I get to use the restroom twice in a day. It's a good day.
I when I taught last week, I was on my feet for about 7 of the 8 hours in teaching and walking around. And when I got home, now I'm 61. I know you look at me and you go, John, 40 maybe, but no, I'm 61. Was that something you would say? Maybe 40, John, right?
Yeah, I'd say you don't look a day over 30.
Give or take 15 years, John. I was exhausted, so I can imagine. And like I said on the phone before, and oh my God, your dad would be so proud of what you're doing right now. He loved his kids, and I worked with him a lot. He was a good fireman. He was a good hazmat guy. He was knowledgeable. And he had this dry sense of humor. Like, he'd say something, you'd be like, that was funny. Like, did he mean to be funny? And then he would give you that look, and you're like, oh my God, he is funny. But I learned so much from him. He was so smart in that area, so dedicated. Just a really cool guy to work with. But you know that already, but it's nice to hear, I'm sure.
Yeah, he definitely had a very dry sense of humor. I think he would have been the king of dad jokes, honestly.
Yes. Give me a story about your dad. Can you give us a story where your dad made you smile or laugh? Do you remember some? Because you were only...
I was 4.5, yeah.
4.5?
Yeah. Goodness.
Or something you heard?
I mean, there's so many stories. I know he was not allowed to cook at the firehouse. That was for sure. He was not a good cook. And I know he was not allowed anywhere near the kitchen. And the same applied to my home. So... his parents are from Italy, so my grandmother would just whip up whatever and it would be fabulous. So my dad thought that she literally just whipped everything up in the same pot. So he just made this dinner concoction, and my mother was like, I am not making our children eat that. So he said, fine, I'll eat it with the dog. And even our German Shepherd would not touch it.
That is so funny you said that. I'm trying to remember him ever cooking at the firehouse. And Now that you mention it, I don't remember him ever cooking.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Well, you talk to my family, and it's the same way. They don't let me cook at home. I didn't cook at the firehouse unless one of the guys who regularly cooked, there was none of them in there. I didn't mind cooking, and I had some simple recipes that, here's the key. I don't know if you remember this, if your dad ever said this. Here's the key to having a good meal cooked by you at the firehouse. The key is to get them so hungry and feed them so late that they don't care. That is the key. Feed them late. When they're hungry, they will eat it. But the same way at home. I'm like, it's brown. My daughters say everything is brown. Like I cook it in a wok, it all tastes the same. Put a little wine, I put a little this, and it's all the same. So that's so funny. Did you see on the news this week there was a rope rescue in Manhattan?
I didn't, but I don't watch the TV because I'm always working.
Oh my God. God bless you. Good for you. But you got to Google this, all right? FDNY rope rescue. We were all trained. Now, it's very rarely done. Basically, what happens is the firefighter takes the roof rope. It's a separate rope, not the one we carry to rescue ourselves, like we had to slide out a window or something. And you take it out on the roof and you tie it to what we call a substantial object, something that'll hold, not like a pipe that's rusty or something that'll hold. So the building is 30 stories. Somebody's hanging out the 26th floor. You slide off the roof, grab them out of the window, slide down to a window below where there are firemen, break in the window, and they pull you in. This was done years ago on 23rd Street during lunch hour. Hundreds, thousands of people watching this rescue take place. It was unbelievable. So this week, another one took place. I think it was like the 15-story building. They grabbed them out of the 14th. It was a beautiful rescue. And my wife was like, would you ever make a roof rescue? And I'm like, listen, I was trained. I was afraid of heights. All right. I was afraid of heights, but I always did my job. Always went up the ladders. Always, but I was like, right. I could see it taking place where John Larocchia is sliding off the roof to make a roof rescue. And it would go something like this. Oh my God, there's somebody hanging out of the window. Oh my God, there's a fireman coming off the roof. He's crying like a baby. Oh my God. He's grabbing the person out of the window. He's screaming like a little girl. And then they would interview me afterwards and go, hey, Mr. John Larocchia, Firefighter Larocchia, that was unbelievable. And I'd be like, it's the scariest thing I ever did. I'm not doing that again. So that would be me making the rescue. I'd probably make it, but it would be a lot of crying and screaming involved, So, all right, so we're glad to have you on. Bobby, do you have the flyer for October 4th we could throw up? The Helping Through Humor. Juliet, we are doing an event in Long Island on October 4th. It's going to be recorded. And it's going to be played about a week later online for many national military responder organizations to click on, pay a fee. That's not it. Pay a fee and choose an organization. So there's like a lot of military organizations or whatever. October 4th is the live show in Long Island, and then we're going to be recording. Helping Through Humor with J.J. Boyd. Look at my website. The flyer's there, laughtersageslives.org. Don't worry about it, Bobby. I didn't mean to put that on you. And then, it's going to be a great show. In fact, Friends of Firefighters is one of the organizations. And up next, we have Nancy Carbone. So let's go to a commercial break, and we'll bring on Nancy. Is that all right, Juliet?
It's good with me.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Michael Barish, managing partner of Barish, McGarry, Salzman, and Penson. We are honored to represent over 11,000 people in the 9/11 community. The people who work at my law firm can really relate to what the 9/11 community is going through because they're going through it too.
So my dad's name was Billy Gormley, and he was a fireman on 9/11.
My father also was a firefighter, and he did report down there as well on 9/11.
My dad, Alan, worked on the 104th floor of the second tower. He was an IT technician.
My father was a fire inspector. My husband, his name is David Velez. He was a detective with the NYPD. And if I can help anybody that is going through exactly what I have gone through for the last 17, 18 years and make their life just a little bit better, then you know what? I love coming to work every single day.
You know, this is a genuine office. Like, people are really sincere.
The best part of my job is the clients. Every once in a while you'll hear in their voice how grateful they are for the work that we do.
We take this personally, and we will not rest unless we help everybody we can before this victim compensation fund ends in 2 years. And we will be fighting to get this thing extended past 2020, because cancer isn't going to stop afflicting the 9/11 community.
And we're back. Laughter Saves Lives live.
There we go.
We have Nancy's left arm. There she is now. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Always great when you're here. We have Juliet Scalzo here.
I know. Juliet, you're amazing.
Thank
You're amazing.
you.
The work that you're doing
Isn't
is
it amazing?
very, very challenging. Almost as challenging as talking to John through this whole thing. Sorry,
I talk
John.
to a lot of people in a day.
I'm sure you do, but there's the inherent threat. So you talk about your dad and his bravery, and I have to hand it to you too, because you're very brave to do what you do. A lot of people are frightened, myself included. So to put yourself in that environment is heroic.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
It
agree.
was, it was
I agree.
stressful in the beginning, but I guess when it's your everyday job, you just kind of don't think about it anymore. I mean, you think about it to the extent that you're being vigilant. You know, we wear tons of PPE. We take every precautions, but it's just part of our job. So
Okay, but Juliet, you just said what every firefighter says. So it's our
That's right.
job. Mhm.
You know how I know she's getting mature and big. She used the word vigilant. When I first met her, she wasn't using those words, Nancy. You know what I mean? Now she.
what, at 4.5?
Right, at 4.5.
I don't even.
You're a
use
late bloomer, Juliet.
So Nancy,
Yes.
it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, John.
Nancy Carbone is to me Friends of Firefighters / my 9/11 crutch. I don't know if you want to call it, because she was there from the beginning for me, and to have her on tonight is special to me. She could be on once a month for all I care. She's a hero to me for her being there and listening when it was just crazy. Our lives were just so crazy and couldn't put two and two together. Think what the frig is going on? Where are all these people that I worked with, and where are they? And what's going on? And just the fear of going to work every day, to have somebody like Nancy to talk to was awesome. And she's still doing it. She's still there. So thank you, Nancy.
Well, the need is still there, you know.
It is.
And I want to clarify, I'm not the counselor. I'm just the conduit. So the counselors do a tremendous job in being there for the firefighters, active and retired, and their families, because it doesn't go away. And you know, you mentioned the roof rescue the other day with Brian Quinn and 59 and the other companies. That was staggering. And you know, I know you're very self-effacing and you say you wouldn't do it. Yes, you would do it. You're trained to do it, and that the training overrides the crying and all
Training
that.
kicked
Although,
in. I just said, Nancy, I didn't say I wouldn't do it. I said I would be screaming and crying as I was
I
doing.
believe it. I believe that you would be. Yes.
But I would have did it.
You would have done it, and hats off to everybody that goes into that job where that's a possibility, you know. So what happens when the fire's over, the rescue's done with a good outcome or a bad outcome? Good outcome is obvious, but the stress level is still there, you know. But when it's turned bad, and sometimes it's very bad, there's a cumulative effect where if you're a first responder and you've seen so much. It starts to spill out in the wrong places, and usually it's towards your family. So we have to be there for that first responder and their family members to make sure that they've got a place to rebuild And sometimes, as the 9/11 community, rebuilding means finding a new normal because it's not going to be what it was.
Yeah. Before I answer that, Butch, can you please call Barbara? She's not in the waiting room. Do you hear me, Butch? Okay. Yeah. My family took a beating. We know Juliet and Darcy and all the kids obviously went through a really rough time. What our families, I think, had to deal with is, why is my dad still here and their dad isn't? They had to deal with some of that, making sense of, can I be happy? No, I can't be happy. And I know with Christina, it really affected Christina. She was in therapy for years. As I think you know, Nancy, a few years ago, she tried to commit suicide, and now she's working with psych patients. But she says at times it's a struggle for her to get through every day. Now, my son isn't like that. There are other kids who may not be like that, but there are a lot of kids out there, Tuesday's children, who are old enough to remember, and it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
Well, it can't go away. It's an imprint on them, and it's coupled with, yes, you're absolutely right. Why did my dad survive? But this other part of it is, and now he wants to go back to the firehouse, and now he thinks he's going to leave in the morning, and the stress level is through the roof. And in addressing completing suicide and suicidal thoughts in frankly not just children, there's quite a few. There have been suicides, unfortunately. Not just the children, but certainly the first responders, and the load that is carried. And unfortunately, I think it's not unusual for a first responder to turn inward and not ask for help. They're the ones that go and help people. So when they need help, it's crippling, right? So they turn inward, and unfortunately, the without going for help, they don't know that there are options. And when you're able to offer people that are in that mindset a door to say, you know what, you can be free of these thoughts, you can rebuild a new norm. It's an honor to be able to do that kind of connecting. I don't do the work in the room, and I have to be very clear. I look to our counselors as miracle workers. First of all, they're getting FDNY members in the room. I mean, and consistently, it's not like they go in and say, it's not for me. They show up and they do the work, and you see changes in them over a short period of time, where initially they'd come in and they wouldn't make eye contact, and then after a while you're hearing their voices. Next thing you know, they're coming in with hammers, and they see something's crooked, they're going to fix it. So they become part of that community, and I know that it's a success when they start saying, okay, now I want to give back, I'm ready, I've got this other buddy, he's got to come in. So that's why we are still around 19 years later, is because the firefighters expect us to be. They John, you've said it, I know you're like an insurance policy. And so
like I told you in the past, I'm trying to remember what services I use from Friends of Firefighters. I recently messaged you guys about a financial person, a financial planner or something like that. But also I want to compliment the World Trade Center program, because I recently went back to talking to a counselor. I haven't talked to a counselor in years, and I was having some problems, some issues. And they're wonderful. I mean, every week, no charge. We're Zooming right now, obviously, which is a little difficult, but with the dog barking and, my daughter yelling down the stairs, Daddy, are you still in your session? Because you got to pick up some tomatoes. Yes, babe, I'm deep into a session here. So it's not the same as being locked in a room with somebody, but thank you for being there for us, and I thank them.
Yeah, I want to clarify. We don't lock anybody in the room, John. The doors, they don't have locks. And another thing I want to add is, thank God you're not a counselor, because you just blew every confidentiality rule out the window. Yeah, I mean, look, you can talk about yourself all you want, and that's fine. What I like about what you're saying is that there may be somebody that hears you and says, holy shit, I don't know if you're allowed to curse, but I'm going to. I have that feeling, and I didn't know somebody else feels that. And that helps people to hear, okay, that maybe that's not as crazy as I'm not going crazy.
And
so it is helpful.
It's nice to talk to somebody who doesn't have any skin in the game, as we used to say as a kid.
Yeah.
It's not a relative. It's not your wife. It's not a friend. It's somebody who doesn't know you and is neutral, and you could say anything to. It's an awesome feeling when you can talk to somebody and go, they're not going to get upset if I say this to them. They're going to listen to me. And our relatives and our friends want to help us, but when there's an emotional attachment, it's very hard sometimes for them to listen and be neutral.
Yeah. And a lot of the feelings that you have when you're going through a trauma, and when I say going through a trauma, I don't mean an hour or a week after the event. It could be 10, 20 years. Okay. So when you look at a Vietnam vet who hasn't gotten help for 25, 30, 40 years, and now is availing him or herself to it, the realization that they don't have to live in their heads, that they can actually have tools that will help them think differently, that will help them. I don't like the word heal, because sometimes things are so raw and so deep, you can't see yourself heal, but you hurt less. And then you start to have better memories, and the memories that are good start to overtake the bad memories as you go forward out of a trauma. So for me to be able to witness the growth of people that come in a positive way, it's wonderful. And we don't just have counseling because sometimes it's not about counseling. Sometimes somebody is really in a spot financially and they need some guidance to figure out how can they move over here, because then they won't have the problems they're having with their spouse if they can only afford X, Y,
Right.
or Z. Sometimes it is an injury, so we'll have acupuncture, or there are different things that we offer. And sometimes it's a matter of just getting together, especially for the retirees who are now no longer in the firehouse family, and especially the 9/11 guys and women who lost people on 9/11, and now they've lost the firehouse, which was their anchor, and
Right.
now they're home. Well, how many spouses who have been running the home for 20 to 30 years wants this person in the kitchen telling them how to run it,
Right.
all of a sudden? So they need a place to go. So our place is where they go, they congregate, they see each other, and downstairs, they hang out. And unfortunately, we just lost Tony Catapano, who
Yes.
was the senior of senior men, and a tremendous blow to us. And it happened during the early months of COVID, but he passed from cancer, the 9/11 cancer. But he set up the downstairs so that it was peer to peer,
Right.
brother to brother, brother to sister, sister to sister, and he set the tone for the whole organization.
And there's nothing like people. I can't explain to people what the firehouse is like. It's I teach some fire departments and some police and go around the country. I was in Boston 2 years ago, and for a week, they broke my balls relentlessly.
I can't imagine.
Just relentlessly. And when we leave, you always say, "Hey guys, thank you for the class." And I almost cried when I got in front of them. I said, "You guys made me feel so at home. I felt like I knew you for 10 years, the way that you just broke my balls. Thank you so much." And people don't get that. If they don't break your balls, they don't love you. If they're not going to, make your life crazy, they don't love you. And that's what the firehouse, you can't duplicate that anywhere. There's no other job, maybe in the military a little, maybe the police, but the firehouse, you eat together, you hang out together, you watch TV together, you party together, you Christmas together. And people ask me, do I miss it? I do miss it, but I'm around firemen enough to fill that void, which is nice.
Well, you also ask for it. We have the breakfast, the hazmat breakfast every month. And John, you make yourself the target. And I think you do that to make everybody else feel at ease, unless you just do it because you don't realize it. But it's so funny.
Do it in general,
target.
but the biggest ball buster is Nancy Carbone at that table. It's not the guys. Nancy's been around too many firefighters. She needs like one of those programs, like, to kind of, heal, I guess, because you are one of the guys, Nancy.
Well, I'm still struggling with you teaching customs and border protection, and the juxtaposition between that and you crying during a rope rescue. So
it would have been.
You're gonna,
yes,
go ahead.
It would have been a lot of tears, but I think I would have made the rescue. But it would have been very embarrassing, Nancy.
I would have paid to see that. But I think the reason I'm comfortable with you guys, I was there in the very beginning at the house. I saw the pain that you were all going through as you were trying to minister to the families. And I was amazed at how you all put your own needs aside and everything was dedicated to the families. And it impressed me. And what also impressed me was the humor that saved your lives. The humor absolutely saved your lives.
Yes.
And this is why I see, the madness. There's a lot of genius behind the madness where if you can make people laugh, everything's going to be okay. So thank you.
You're welcome. It makes people feel normal. The laughter, and that's why it's so upsetting to me. And we don't do politics on the show, and I'm not going to do politics, but to see the anger and the hate with some people now, it's so upsetting because what we need is more of the laughter and the love. And I know I sound like a crazy, but I truly believe that. I just believe we need more. Well, we can't hug as much right now, but more hugs and more laughter and less of the anger and the hate. It's not good. It's not healthy.
Kindness goes a very long way. And what's unfortunate is now kindness stands out. It's no longer the norm. It's a surprise if somebody holds a door for you. And that's a little bit of a shame, but I hold out hope. I think what's going on now with the global pandemic, I think we're all starting to realize, we're not in a bubble.
Right.
It's not just me and my world. It's not what do you guys say? IGM, right? It's not just about me. And this is where I learned about square rooting and all of that. You guys would have and you would look down upon firefighters that only thought of themselves and outside also. But I learned a lot about society through the very sometimes warped thinking of the firefighters because that was frowned upon if you thought about yourself. You were part of a team. Yeah. And I think that is what will see us all through, that we realize we're part of a team. And it sounds corny as hell, but kindness goes a long way.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's go to our next commercial break. Nancy, can you hang out a little while?
Yeah, where am I going?
None
of us going anywhere. Yes.
Give me a call. We'll be right back.
When someone is choking, brain damage can occur after just 4 minutes. Did you know every 5 days a child dies because of a choking accident?
My name is Art Lee. I invented LifeVac to protect my family. LifeVac is an easy-to-use suction device with a special one-way valve to help save a choking victim.
I care for my dad, who's prone to choking. Having LifeVac in my home gives me peace of mind.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Dad.
Call 1-877-LifeVac or visit lifevac.net.
Oh, we're back? We're back, Bob. That was a quick commercial. I took a phone call. We are back with Nancy Carbone. We're waiting for Barbara Horn from the Calling of the Names to call in. Juliet, I told you on the phone. John, shut up. Let me talk. Do you have anything you want to say to Nancy? Do you have anything you want to say to Nancy that you were?
Thank you. You've definitely done a lot for the families. I remember you from when I was little. It's crazy.
I was blown away.
It's probably weirder for you now, but
a little bit. I will ask you off screen how your family is. Your mom made me laugh more than anyone. Your mom is terrific, and give her my love.
It reminds me of a story. She says her mom made you laugh. We did a comedy show. I don't know how long after 9/11. It wasn't that long, 2 years. And Jeannie Carey was in the audience, and Jeannie had a drink. So Jeannie has this laugh. It's so loud. And the comic stopped and he said something to her about, "Boy, you're loud. Are you married?" And she said, "Well, you could say that." And he said, well, did he leave you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, like this can be like the worst thing that could happen tonight." And she said, "Yeah, you could say that too." Like she got it. She didn't want to put the comic, make him feel bad. I never told this comic because she would have been devastated, Yeah. But all right, listen, Nancy, thank you. I see Barbara I think that's Barbara. Yeah, she's finally here. So I'm going to let you go.
Thank you so much for what you do, John. You make a tremendous difference, and I appreciate it.
Coming from you, believe me.
Yeah, and Juliet, thank you.
We love Friends of Firefighters here at Laughter Saves Lives, and we're always going to support you. If
Yes,
it's
you are. Thank you.
a few dollars, or if we do a big thing and it's more money, and you're going to be involved in this October 4th thing, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, we'll
Yes, I
get
will.
you the information. I'll be talking to tomorrow or Stephanie.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Good night,
Appreciate
Nancy.
it.
Nancy,
Good night.
Friends of Firefighters, an awesome organization. Look them up online. Nancy, Friends of Firefighters, I guess it's .org.com. Google them. They do awesome stuff. Right now, let's bring up Barbara Horn from the Calling of the Names. She is in her living room. Hello, Barbara from Long Beach.
You're looking way up into the sky, John. Is that how you see me?
Oh, well, I'm at least I'm big this week. Last week I was very tiny. This week I'm big on screen. Barbara.
I have two things to say. One is I love Nancy Carbone. In my early days, like in 2002, I volunteered for Friends of Firefighters. I just have a very, very special spot in my heart for what they do.
Me too. And you said you wanted to say something else?
Well, I have a little guy next to me, and he just wants to be seen. Can you see him?
Let me see him. Oh, the little pooch. He's busy. He's very busy right now.
He's doing his thing. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi. So we have about 10 minutes. So tell us briefly, not in the Barbara Horn way, but briefly what Calling of the Names is all about.
So if you don't want me to tell you in the Barbara Horn way, would you like me to tell you in the way my cousin Mary from Ireland would tell you?
Oh, okay. I may regret this. Okay.
Geez, it's just a wee thing, but it makes a nice big difference there.
There you go.
So several of us who helped out at St. Paul's Chapel, year after year, we go to this wonderful, the ceremony that the city had and then the museum has that honors all the people who we lost that day. And
St. Paul's Chapel, tell them about St. Paul's briefly.
So St. Paul's Chapel, if you only go to one other place before you leave this planet, you have to go to St. Paul's Chapel. It's in Lower Manhattan. It borders the northeast side of the World Trade Center complex. It's right on Broadway. It is the oldest building in continuous use in Manhattan. It is where, it was built in 1766. And in 1789, when George Washington was sworn in as the first president of these United States in Federal Hall, across the street from Wall Street Stock Exchange, which I don't think was there yet, he walked up to St. Paul's Chapel, and that's where he worshiped for the 2 years New York was the first capital of the United States of America. So it reeks of history, and it's the only structure. It's the only structure after the towers were struck and came down that was not harmed, that bordered the site.
Right. So
it didn't have a window pane that broke, so it became a respite center.
And then what did they do on the days and months following 9/11 at the church?
Food, socks. You could come and sleep there 24/7, eat there, rest there. There were chiropractors, podiatrists in George Washington's booth that would fix your feet. There were musicians that came and played soothing music. And there were kids who wrote hysterical letters that were all over the place. It was just a combination of tons of love and support and generosity locally and from around the country and even the world.
So out of that, a few years ago, you decided to do this Calling of the Names. Whose names are called?
So we decided that the responders and volunteers who came after the 11th, all those who were there the days, the weeks, and the months during the 9-month rescue and recovery effort, those who have left us, we decided that we want a ceremony similar in style to the one they have at the museum, but calling the names of those who came afterwards and are no longer with us.
And they
deceased 9/11 responders and volunteers.
Right. And they could have died for any reason. Does it have to be the 9/11 cancer or
exactly. Right. Most of the names we have, probably about 85% of them, have died of 9/11 related illness because they're very closely tracked.
Right.
Because then it's considered a line of duty death and has all other implications.
Right.
But there are many people who had all kinds of things happen. They might not have lived long enough to have that complication. Or anyway, so we decided we're calling. If you came and helped and you're no longer with us, we're calling your name.
And how long have you been doing this?
This will be, since 2016, this will be our 5th ceremony.
All right. So I think I did 4 Calling of the Names so far.
Right. You ready for number 5, John?
Ready for number 5. But this is getting a little special for Laughter Saves Lives because the last year we were a small sponsor. This year we're a bigger sponsor of the event. Very, very proud to be involved. Bobby from Paradise Studios, Butch Seltzer, Amy Solomon from Laughter Saves Lives. It's such an honor for you to allow us to be this involved. Butch has his own story that he'll tell someday how he was involved with 9/11. He was in charge of traffic, I guess you could say, in the traffic. He was very involved that day.
Did he direct traffic?
He was doing. He was involved with the news. The traffic.
Okay.
So he was in charge of a lot of what was going on traffic-wise that day, reporting traffic. So he was in the middle of the whole thing also. So I'm very honored to be able to help us on this. Know that we are very honored to be able to do it.
The feeling's mutual. We're grateful. So
we're doing it right out of here, Paradise Studios, this year, with callers from all over the world, really, right, Barbara?
We have 3 countries and we have at least 10 states. So we have 3 from merry old England and 1 from Gander, Newfoundland. In Canada, we have some iron workers who live on an Indian reserve just north of Montreal. And people are all around. And that's the sad thing is that we can't be in St. Paul's Chapel where we usually are because of the pandemic. But the bright side of what that does is it allows people from all over who were responders or responders in their own places to participate. So that's pretty cool, as my nephew would say.
Number one, you even said it to me the other day. Number one is their names will be called. We're going to, no matter what, then even if the power goes out again, Barbara and I and whoever else are going to stand in Long Beach on the boardwalk and read those names. So the names will be read.
Because before you offered the studio and you all made that wonderful gesture, that the most sophisticated I was with the whole thing was somebody gave me an Ethernet cable to hook my laptop up to my modem. And they said, this might do it. So I looked at it and said, God, maybe a little extra help here. And then all of a sudden you step forward. So
thank God for Butch, because I'm not as bad as you in that way, but I'm not great with everything. And I always turn to Butch and my kids. I mean, that's the reason we have kids, is to be able to help us with this stuff.
It's very practical.
My wife says, do we want to have a third? I'm going to need help later in my life. And the 2 older ones are probably not going to want anything to do with me. Let's have another kid. That was the whole purpose.
The serious considerations of parenting. Yes.
Yes. Olivia Lynn was the 20th birthday again today. And Livy, if it kind of wasn't for Olivia, I may not be here because of 9/11. That's the reason that I switched my schedule, that I didn't go to the medical office with Bobby Hunter and Captain Waters and Dennis Carey, is because I had nobody to watch Olivia. So I told him I went for my medical the day before. So she gets whatever she wants. Put it that way, Barbara.
Okay. I haven't met her yet, but I'd like to meet Olivia.
Oh, she's
wonderful.
She is my favorite.
Unlike Papa, huh? She's not a pain in the...
My older daughter is watching. That's why I'm saying that. She's in the waiting room. I'm kidding, Christina Marie. I'm kidding. All right, Barbara.
Yes.
I will see you on Friday. I will have my Class A uniform on. I will be looking very nice.
I want people to know that it's a long ceremony because there are a lot of names to call, just like at the one at the museum. But so you're welcome to come on and go off, and and we're doing the names for the most part. The names are alphabetical. I'd like to say just 2 quick things about the names: that they're in alphabetical order, except for the names that have come in the past month after we finalized the list. So those names, after we call all the names are in our final list in alphabetical order, then at the end we'll call the new names that have been submitted and incorporate them in to next year's permanent list. But if anybody out there and still now has a name that they'd like to submit, it can be a construction worker, operating engineer, someone who volunteered for Salvation Army down there, go to our website and get how complicated this name is. Calling of the names, plural.com. And there's a little thing that says how to submit a name, and let us know, because we really want to honor as many as we can. That's it.
Barbara. So I will see you on Friday. Maybe talk to you before then. Thanks for coming on tonight, and thank you for doing
Appreciate
the names.
my honor. I'm grateful. Okay.
I know you are.
Good night.
Good night, Barbara.
Night.
Do we have any more commercials, Bob? All right, let's show the commercial, then we'll come back with Christina Marie Larocchia. I know her from somewhere.
Put your phone away. We're having dinner.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
What can I get you? You guys want appetizers?
For some reason, I just got a craving for smoked meat.
Will you order something already? The menu hasn't changed. You looked at it 3 times.
I don't know what I want yet.
I wanted chicken, but I think it's blackened, so I'll have a burger.
How'd you like that cooked?
Medium.
Do you have any specials?
Specials? Boss, what are specials?
What's the matter? You don't know the specials?
Look at this smoke.
What smoke?
We gotta get these dumps clean.
Nah, they're fine.
You know what? We're just gonna take out water to go, okay?
In business since 2003, MCN Duct Cleaning is the result of many years of research and continuing education. Realizing the need to provide a safer and cleaner environment for families on Long Island, MCN services both residential and commercial properties by cleaning dryer vents, fireplaces, HVAC systems, and so much more. This not only improves air quality, but it could also reduce your energy bills by making things run more efficiently. So, if you want to make your house or business safer and cut down on your bills in the process, give our friend Matt over at MCN a call now.
Is that steak well done?
Maybe call a little bit sooner than these guys did.
Juliet, I just love that commercial.
I know a guy in it.
Isn't the acting impeccable?
There's a lot of New York accent thrown into there.
Horrible. It is horrible. And we're here with Christina Marie Larocchia. Hello, Christina Marie.
Hello. Hi, Juliet. How
Hi,
are
Christina. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I just left her at the dinner table. We have 2 healthcare professionals now on the screen and me. Christina Marie has over the years sung at a number of 9/11 related events, including the Laughter Saves Lives Gala. I don't know if we can call that a 9/11 related event, but Laughter Saves Lives. And again, for the 9/11 calling of the names, Christina is singing one song and one song with her boyfriend.
Wow, that was so specific. It's amazing.
What?
That was beyond specific.
What do you mean?
Some song and another song with her boyfriend. Thanks.
Yeah, she's singing a song and another song with her boyfriend. That's what I said.
That's very specific.
What do you get from doing this? Being how involved you are with 9/11?
For me, and I know that being your daughter, I can say that I definitely felt a bit of that survivor's guilt, right? A bit of that I couldn't share that feeling with Juliet or Amy Gardner, and I wanted to honor them and their struggles so badly. And me as a young child going to 19 memorials, funerals, all that stuff, it deeply affected me. It changed who my dad was. It had a huge effect on our family, and I love to be able to give my gift. My gift is being able to sing and to spread that. And for everybody, it's a different feeling when you're in the church, at St. Paul, but that feeling of being able to touch everybody and bring everybody together with my songs or my music, it's just, I'm so thankful I get to do that for 9/11 related events. And I hope to do it for the rest of my life. I mean, I really want to honor people like Dennis Scalzo and Tommy Gardner and those men I don't forget. I wear their names on a shirt all the time, and I look at them and I am thankful for the outcome my family had, but I deeply feel for those who didn't have the same outcome as I did. And I definitely want to continue each year to give back in this little tiny way.
And and Christina has had, Juliet, problems with her voice over the years. So it's always like, I don't think I can do this. Oh no. And I'm you're doing it.
I remember a few, yeah.
Yeah, I've had surgery on my vocal cord, so every time I'm like, I don't know, but even if it's not my best performance, I'm happy to give it, and I hope the words mean, more.
And it's and the other day when she was recording, she was like, "Oh, that one," and I'm like, "It sounded good to me, but more than sounding good, I can see the passion and the feeling that she has, and that's more important. Even though the song sounds great, that's more important because it's kind of my gift through Laughter Saves Lives to be able to say, Christina, please do this for me because it means a lot to me to have her involved."
And I definitely sing the song better when I'm looking at my dad. It helped me more to feel and to perform it to the best of my ability, watching my dad sit there and to see how lucky I am and how I know others weren't, and how we get to be here as a united family and help those who were also affected by the day, and how we can change and help through Laughter Saves Lives. I'm extremely proud of my dad, and it's a blessing to be part of the foundation, and I hope I get to do it for a long time.
On that note, what we're going to do is we're going to end the show with Christina's song that she'll be singing, that's recorded, that will be part of the event on Friday, the Calling of the Names, and then we are signing out. I'm not coming back. I want to say thank you to Juliet.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry if I did too much talking, Juliet.
It's totally fine.
Welcome to my life, Juliet.
Thank you for what you do. This is Christina Larocchia singing.
Are you asking me, Dad?
Yeah.
There You'll Be by Faith Hill. Thanks, Dad.
There you be.
You were there.
Good night, everybody. We'll never forget. We will never ever forget. Never, ever forget.
All right, Adam, whenever you're ready. When I think back on these times and the dreams we left behind, I am glad 'cause I was blessed to get to have you in my life. When I look back on these days, I look and see your face. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky, and in my heart I know there'll be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be, and everywhere I am there you'll be. Well, you showed me how it feels to feel the sky within my reach, and I will be glad for all the strength you've taught and gave to me. Your love helped me make it through. Oh, I owe so much to you. You were right there for me. And in my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart I know there'll be a place for you for all my life. I keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be, 'cause I always saw in you my light, my strength. And I want to thank you now for all the ways you were right there for me. You were right there for me. And in my there you'll be.